Hi, friends. Welcome to Great People Interview Series once again. Today, I have with me Debbie Rhodes. Hi, Debbie.
Hi there.
So she is a digital marketing consultant, founder of Digital Covered, which was founded in 2015, right, Debbie?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she has been growing customers, and most essentially, I think she has been improving the overall digital transformation journey for lots of customers. She has got a unique way to deal with the customers and make them happy. So before I get into more of her CV, let me pass it on to her and let her introduce. So Debbie, tell us more about your organization, what exactly you do.
Hi, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. We run Digital Covered. It's in Leeds, Yorkshire, in England. I've spent most of my career being the client, running big teams in various guises, financial services, First Direct amongst others, HSBC. Then I moved into more healthcare and charities and mutuals, which tend to be quite old-fashioned, a bit nervous of digital. But my passion and my focus is all about improving that quality of user experience. And so many companies still don't quite know how to do that. So we try and embed a culture change to be excited about making improvements rather than scared of accepting you need to improve. It's okay. So that's what we aim to do, come into companies and help them with that culture shift to the digital transformation. So it's a lot more about people for me than it is about the technologies.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting dimension, because a lot of these digital companies, agencies, they are focused more on technology for all the right reasons. But I guess people element, I believe, is a crucial one, because it's the adaptability of the technology which makes the technology success. So I think you're probably working on a very interesting area. But David, do you not feel that people who are using the technology or older technology for many years and now suddenly have to shift to something new, there is a lot of resistance?
Yeah, I think it's a natural human thing. Change is scary. Change, people can get defensive about their corner of work. This is mine, it's fine, leave it alone. They can get defensive. It can feel like you're criticizing because you want to change it and they don't want to change. And because our niche is very much those older companies, the more traditional ones, we see that a lot. It is literally just about being part of the team and helping them evolve and showing them what the benefits are, getting rid of some of that boring donkey work, the tasks, filing all this paper, whatever that looks like for them. And the fact that the more you can automate, the quicker they can be, the happier the customers will be. So for me, the user experience for digital transformation has three sides to it. There's the stakeholder, the business owners, but then there's the staff. Critically, you're not going to get anywhere unless the staff are on board. If the people are not on board, you can throw thousands, millions of pounds at it, but you're just not going to get there. And then, of course, there's the customer. So you've got three groups of people, and that's what it's about for me. That's why it's exciting, because changing their minds, improving their experiences is everything.
Absolutely. That's a very crucial part of the entire digital transformation.
And the hardest bit.
Yeah, it is hard, because I think, technology will do what you ask technology to do, but people have their brains and their perceptions, so they will do finally, what they want to do. So it's a difficult one to drive.
Yeah. But it's the fun bit. You never quite know what you're going to get. Each company is completely different. Their culture, their people are different. what they need out of digital is different. So I absolutely love what we do here at Digital Covered, because every day is different. Every hour is different.
So us technology people, what we call it as, highly personalized and customized solution. That's what you do, by default anyway.
Yeah, it is really, yeah. And I just love fixing problems. And I still find a lot of companies that haven't embraced agile. Agile is all about find a problem, fix it, or let it go wrong and see what you can learn from it. But companies that haven't embraced that kind of attitude yet are still scared of finding a problem or failing. So that's a big part of it as well, and embracing that and saying it's okay.
So where does this name Digital Covered comes from?
That's because we're chameleons. So I've been in the industry 30 years, yikes. I was at First Direct when they launched the very first social media platform for any bank. I was part of that team. So I've been doing this a very long time, and I'm growing old and grey with it, let's say. But because of that, I've literally done every single job there is to do in digital marketing, every single one, from the ground up, managing a CRM system, sending out emails. I've done the lot. So when I set this company up, I wanted to be able to tell our clients that we can cover it all.
Wow.
We will be chameleons, because your needs will be different to the next person and to the last person. So we can be chameleons and cover everything you need. You don't need to worry. We'll help you get there. That doesn't mean literally I'm going to sit there sorting out your SEO, but it does mean I know what good looks like, and I can find the right people and the right approaches and the right strategies.
That's so crucial to their overall planning and execution anyway.
Yeah.
So what's your backstory, and how did you get this idea of getting into digital consultancy and all that, what you're doing today?
Well, when I worked at First Direct for a long time. I ran their digital marketing team for a few years. Then I did a year for HSBC Global, which was eye-opening. You don't get to sleep a lot if you work globally, if you're aware of that. So that was interesting. Again, it was different. And when I left the bank, after so many years, I had to figure out what was important to me. So I think it's a really important lesson to learn that if you're going to set up a business, you need to be passionate about what you're doing. You need to be interested in it. It doesn't want to feel like a job. I'm not sure how that would succeed. It wouldn't work for me anyway. So I did a few coaching exercises with somebody I really trust. And the one that came out right at the top, it wasn't about being rich or having a nice car, or it was change. I just love change. I love to keep mixing it up and changing it around. My husband goes crazy because I keep moving the furniture at home. I drive him mad. So I like change, which is fairly unusual, I think, in the human race. So then I had to think about, what do I want to go work for another company permanently again? Or is it time to try and do something differently? So that's how it came about initially, because I didn't want to be in one company for too long. And I thought, well, actually, this would work. And I've done, and every time I talk to recruiters about specific jobs, so when you tell somebody you've been made redundant or you're on the market for a role, recruiters pop up everywhere. So you would have them calling you and saying, do you want this role? Do you want that role? And they were all very specific roles. I'm thinking, I don't want to do just that. I don't want to do just one thing. And when I'd have a really good conversation with the recruiters, the biggest thing they would come back to me is, wow, you really have done everything. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know how to position that. I don't know how to look for roles for you, because you really have done everything. So that's where it came from. And the fact that when I was that busy leader, having somebody that I could trust temporarily that completely got it at the top would have been priceless at times, but I didn't know it existed, and I'm not sure it really does. So that's why we set Digital Covered up, to be that second pair of trusted hands, eyes that can really support you either at a busy or challenging time.
So as you moved into setting this up, how do you attract customers and retain customers?
Oh, this one won't be too helpful to people setting up from scratch, because I was so well known in the industry. I spent a long time just with referrals and recommendations, people coming in that way. And that's amazing because they already have the relationship or the trust. If you've been recommended by somebody they trust, they already trust you. You're not starting from the very bottom of that relationship.
Yeah.
So that's been amazing. And I feel very lucky to have had that. What I've been doing more recently, because that kind of, you can only do that for so long. I mean, it's such a unique offering that we do here that you run out of people you can talk to that already know you.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is lots more networking. We're looking at whether we set up any kind of email type marketing. I'm not completely convinced about that. I want to stay very personal. I want to stay very unique. So I'm actually trying not to do the normal standard firing 100 things out and seeing what happens.
Right.
So I talk a lot at networking events. I'm writing a lot more. I'm interacting more on LinkedIn. I absolutely love LinkedIn, by the way. So I'm putting myself out there as a face in the industry again. It feels like I've kind of come full circle up since we started seven, 8 years ago. And it's now time to make sure we absolutely are seen as consultants, and that niche is really clear.
Right. Brilliant. So having done, that part, which has actually been done by your experience and, your presence in the industry, anyway, you didn't have to do any specific marketing to bring customers in, but what would you do to retain the customers? Or do you retain the customers? I guess, yes, I know what you're going to say, because we spoke before, and you said, you would not like to necessarily use, retaining customers. You deliver and you go out when it is the right time. So can you just explain about that strategy that you have?
Of course. So our business, the most important thing for our clients and us to succeed is that trust. Having that trust is critical. And I genuinely don't want to work with them longer than they need me. I don't want them to keep paying me because I want to be paid. That doesn't need to be their problem. And I think that's fairly unusual in the agency world as well. So our model is very much, and we're very open about this from the beginning, it's very much, we will be around till you don't need us anymore. And that comes as a surprise to quite a lot of clients that are used to agencies trying to hold on to them and coming up with lots of other ideas and ways to work with them and keep those invoices going. That's not our model. So at one of the very first meetings with a new client, I will be really honest with them and say to them, I will probably realize before you that you don't need us anymore, and I will tell you. And that comes as a surprise. I go, no, I genuinely mean it. Now it's partly, and it's an odd model, but it's partly because I love challenge and change. So if I'm working with a client too long, I'm not going to have that fresh eyes and fresh perspective that they're paying me for. And if I'm doing a good job, they shouldn't need me for a long, long time, because our job here is at Digital Covered is very much to set the stage and set the foundations of how to start that journey of transformation. We don't have to be in every step of it. It might be they pop back every now and then and say hello and have a chat. And we have a few clients now that do that. So clients we've stopped working with, very much it's a free open door anytime to just have a chat and check in and see how things are going.
I guess,
so we do that.
Because I guess what you did is, you basically taught your customers to do their own fishing.
Yeah, teach a man to fish and he won't go hungry. And I think it's very much about finding that passion for digital and change and transformation. and understanding why the user is at the center of everything you're doing. So if we can embed that into their cultures and help them on that journey, they shouldn't really need us anymore. They might need agency help now and then, and that might be us, or it might be a different type of skill set they need, but they shouldn't need my team day in, day out, because we're here to help get things started, help embed a change, and then they should be able to fish themselves.
Yeah. So would you tell our audience your favorite movie example and elaborate what it is trying to say?
I can't remember the proper phrase, but there's a film, a Nanny McPhee film, and it's a nanny, and she's looking after some very, very naughty children, and they've managed to get rid of every other nanny before her, but she's not budging. And she says to them something along the lines of, there'll come a day when you want me to stay. And they obviously, none of them believe that could ever possibly happen, but there will be a day when you want me to stay. That's when I have to go. And that's what we do.
Yeah. So when customer thinks, they are too dependent on you to do things which actually they should be doing, that's the point. Okay, guys, yeah. I think it's better, you start taking your responsibility. But I think that's a brilliant approach, and I'm sure the audience will find this unique as well.
Yeah, and maybe not everyone would agree with that as a business model.
Yeah,
it doesn't guarantee me ongoing income, does it?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why it's unique, but I think it further enhances the trust factor that you initially talked about.
Yeah.
They trust you more, and should they have a real need in future, they will absolutely not go anywhere else but say, Debbie, we need you. Or can say to somebody else, if you need this, then if you want a trusted person who is genuine and not necessarily trying to, make a meal out of, your requirements, then that's Debbie Rhodes. And I think in a short term, yes, it would look like it's not really a great business model, but I think in the long term, even if I take a commercial perspective, it is still a great model.
Well, ask me in another 5 years.
Yeah,
but it's the model that makes us happy here, because we want to come in and help you get on the right track, help you understand what great looks like, and then go do it with somebody else. That's what we want to do. So selfishly, that's what makes us happy too. Yeah.
So one final one, how do you see yourself growing from here? Expansion plans?
So this is another weird answer. 2020 and 2021, during the COVID period, if you like, was crazy busy. We were doing so many different types of projects, big changes. We were bringing in lots of specialist skills, developers and so on, to build new websites for clients. We were doing all sorts, because we couldn't go into their offices and do that very much face-to-face culture and change. So we became more of a normal traditional digital agency. We're going back to our roots now and our niche, which we've been talking about this morning. Yeah. So actually this year, we won't be expanding on purpose. What's the opposite of expansion? Anyway, we
consolidation.
Yeah. Oh, I like
consolidation.
That. Yeah, I like that. So this year is about consolidation, getting back to our roots and making sure we absolutely know our purpose. So why are we here? What do we want to do? What makes us happy? It's everything I've just been talking to you about, by the way, because we've done that piece. We hope again that by the end of this year, we've got all of that in place so that we're strong and ready. And we're, testing a few ideas out now on how to market that, the best ways to do it, because I want to keep it very personal still. I don't want to throw it out there it's not a numbers game. It needs to be personal, what we do. So it needs to feel like that, even the marketing does. So we're figuring that out. And then hopefully we start to expand again from 2023. One more unique thing, my partner in crime is actually my son. So wow. My hope is that we can get this business onto that purpose and strategy itself, and why we do these things, what makes us happy, what are we passionate about, what would we do if you didn't pay us?
Yeah.
But that's the big question for people. What would you still do if nobody paid you? That's the question. So, you know, we've answered all those questions, and I hope the business is sustainable into the future for him. And probably in the next few years, I'll take a step back anyway. So it's a unique answer, because most companies will tell you that they're going to grow by this, and they're going to times it by 6, and they're going to do the other.
Yeah, but I guess this is very interesting and very deep, actually. You know, if you see, if somebody wants to take a long jump, you know, first thing they need to do is go back a few steps and take what they call as a run up. And only then the jump will be longer. You know, if they start jumping from where they are, the jump would be shorter. So
I like that. I might use it.
So yeah, so that's why, you know, opposite of growth could be, you know, slowing down or closing down, but consolidation means, hey, you're getting ready for the next big jump.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing I teach all of my clients. Take a step back, slow down a second, don't buy the shiny new thing. Figure out your strategy first. And they hate that to start with. They hate it. Slow down. But I want an app, or I want a new website, or I need this, or well, just slow down a second. Let's figure out what the strategy behind that is and what happens after, what happens next. And it's always worth doing. So yes, we're taking our own advice this year.
Brilliant. Hi there. I just wanted to share with you all why London School of Digital Business is doing this Great People interview series. Well, for the last few years, small and medium businesses have been facing lots of challenges. Individuals have been wondering what's going to happen to their careers because of these emerging trends and technologies, artificial intelligence, VR, AR. What's going to happen? It feels as if the world is changing. And then COVID hit, and there is a lot of depression in the minds of people. So we thought we need to bring in some positivity, bring in some motivation and inspiration. And it's all good to know these stories of, you know, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. But we wanted to talk about the extraordinary stories of the people that you get to see in the ordinary world. They are no way ordinary people. They are great people, but they are the ones you can relate to. Hence, we thought this is something that we want to bring in to increase the chances of success for many, motivate them, give them the insights. And I'm so happy to share that every leader has shared completely unique and different insights because their situations have been different. Somebody was alone, and we know that, you know, entrepreneurs are alone at the top and how it feels, and they fought their challenges. Somebody had partnership, business partners, and you know, somebody could not survive the business partnership, so they had to rebuild themselves. You know, somebody thought, well, I could have done this differently if I was to go back in time. So every insight is so unique. I must thank all the people who shared their journeys, and I'm sure this will help you all succeed in life, increase the chances of your success, as well as reach there faster, and of course, achieve happiness in life. Thank you for listening. Brilliant. So having understood Digital Covered as the agency, Debbie as a super successful business person, let's try to, you know, move to the next section and try to understand Debbie as a person. So a few questions which are, you know, quick to answer, but, you know, very personal. So if you were to go back in time, what you would have done differently?
The one that drives me absolutely crazy is the property prices in England. And if I'd have known that in the 80s, I would have made myself incredibly poor and bought everything I could find. And now I'd be a millionaire.
Right. You know what they say actually in properties, you know, it's never too late, because what was for 100K few years ago, a few decades ago, is a million now. And what you're gonna get for a million today is going to be a few millions in future, because and that's not only true for England, but in most places where there is some development going on. So,
that's true.
Because land is a resource which is finite in nature.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So that's probably a good piece of advice to younger people. Try and get on the property ladder, or have some land, or do something if you have anything spare.
And it's never late. If you are thinking that we should have gone there a few years earlier, doesn't matter.
No, well, we do. Yeah, we have a few rental properties now. So we started late. I just wish I'd started 30, 40 years ago. Well, maybe 30. I'm not quite that old.
Yeah. So what do you love to do over the weekend?
We have 5 dogs.
Wow.
So and some of those are actually trialing dogs, which means that they do working tests. So they learn to work to the whistle, and they have to sit at certain points. They know to go left, right, back, so on. So we do a lot of training with the dogs on a weekend, and a lot of tests. So we travel around to different ones, and sneaky few social drinks with friends on a weekend as well. We have a local cricket club just a few minutes from our house, which is just a lovely place to sit. On the rare occasion when it's sunny here, which as you can see it is right now, because I'm
absolutely. I could see that one beam that's just going across.
I'm moving around this beam while I'm talking to you. It's a beautiful day.
Thing, but I guess it's now, April is when our cricket season starts, and the leagues have started. My son plays for one of the clubs in the north of Leicester.
Oh, brilliant.
And
it's lovely that family. We don't have anyone playing cricket, but we know lots of people up there, and it's just a nice community. And you get to talk to some of the mums and dads if it's the kids playing, and it's just nice. It's just a nice place to
be. We as a family are very passionate about sports, and that's why my son preferred to go to Loughborough University, and he said is this a place if somebody loves sports?
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said you have a son. So how about your family members other than your son?
So I live with my 2 sons, who are adults, by the way, and my husband as well. And we and our 5 dogs and a cat. Oh my goodness. So it's a busy house. And then I have my extended family, my parents and my sister live in Canada.
Wow.
So my parents are still thriving in their 70s, and my sister has 2 children. She's a lot younger than me, and they all live in Ontario near Niagara Falls.
Wow.
So we try and get out every 1 or 2 years to see them. It's just a beautiful place, gorgeous place, lovely people, very nice people in Canada. It's very
warm,
how you picture it to be, very nice.
Yeah, I've been to had a few customers in Vancouver as well as Ottawa, and I felt the same. The people are quite warm,
very friendly. But it's a lovely place, and it's beautiful, and there's lots to see. So it's nice to get out there every couple of years.
Is that your favorite holiday destination then?
It's not, and that's only because it's more of a family visit.
Right.
It doesn't. It's not really a holiday. Once you've seen Niagara Falls 4 times, you're kind of done. So it's not really. People will say, "Did you go to Niagara Falls?" I went, "No." I've been traveling out there for 30 years, so no,
Yeah.
I don't go to Niagara Falls every year. I absolutely love Portugal, and that's partly because it's just so close, but also because, again, the people are fabulous. They're so friendly, and the coast along the bottom, along the Algarve, is stunning. It's just beautiful. If anyone's going to Portugal anytime soon, please go on one of the boat trips and see it from the sea. It's stunning. We just love it there, and it doesn't take long to get there, which is nice. So a couple of times before I got too busy, we hired a villa for a month a couple of times, and just stayed there for a month and just become part of the culture.
Wow.
And yeah, that's where I would retire if they would have me.
Absolutely, they would have you.
We'll see.
Yeah, sure. So good luck with that. And the final piece and the most important piece is the question that everybody is looking to hear your answer for is what's the ultimate goal and purpose of your life, and after that, obviously, what's your advice to the audience?
Well, as you've seen, my approach is probably quite unique in business, but I love what I do, and that's why I run it as a business, because I can choose what I do. So I absolutely love it, and I like inspiring people to enjoy digital, to enjoy being a marketeer, but from a people angle, so that you're constantly learning. So I love that, and if I can inspire people to get involved in that and do it for the right reasons from that user experience point of view, then I'll be very happy. So I love meeting new people, chatting with them, finding out how we can help each other, and of course keeping this business going so that it can be a legacy for Jack. That's important as well. If I can make that happen. So far so good, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
My advice, I think I mentioned it earlier, figure out what you would do even if you couldn't be paid. What's your passion? What's your passion? What do you have to do? And if you can turn that into a business, it won't feel like you're working. And that might sound a little corny, but it's true. It won't feel like you're working anymore because you're doing what you absolutely love. And I think the other one is, once you've figured out what your business is, what your purpose is going to be, and how, and you're getting started, don't do too many things at once. Don't spread yourself too thin. Figure out one niche, one channel even. So just LinkedIn or just Facebook, and put your heart and soul into it and make it work, and then grow it out. So if you think about an agile project methodology, you find your minimum viable product. So do that for your business, make that work, get it live, and then you can test and learn from that before you take your next step and your next step.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that advice. Thank you very much for your time. I guess, we could just go on and have, the pieces of advices from you, but that's all the time we have today. And I'm sure
I can talk all day. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, and take care.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.